Hi everyone, welcome to another MSI Insider live stream. And today I'm here together with Ellie. And Ellie comes from Cooler Master because today we'll talk about all kinds of different Cooler Master products. So Ellie is responsible for business development for the thermal department, right? Maybe you could tell a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Ellie Lai and I work for Cooler Master within the thermal business unit. And today we are very happy to be invited by the MSI after our successful collaborations. So today we will be introducing our new thermal product for this year, and we are very happy to be here.
Well, good to have you here. Very warm welcome in the studio. So we're online on multiple channels. I know that one of Ellie's colleagues is also live in the YouTube chat. So if you also want written feedback, please join us on YouTube. Of course, we're also live on Twitch, Facebook, Periscope, Mixer, etc. We have all chats open, so if you have any questions, drop them in chat. We'll try to answer as many as possible. So Ellie is responsible for thermal. Later on in the show, your colleague will also join, and he's responsible for the power business unit, right?
Yes, correct.
So if you have any questions related to power supplies or accessories about that, please leave them for the second half of the show, and let's talk about thermals.
Yes, let's start.
So I see you brought a lot of stuff today.
Yes, we have a lot.
That's always good.
We have a lot of stuff today, lots of new product. And I would like to start with our air cooler that we introduced this year. I think the first one is Threadripper, that I think everyone's very familiar with, that we had a collaboration with the AMD for this special model. And due to lots of good feedback we received this year, that furthermore we come out with this universal platform product, and it is compatible with both AMD and Intel as well. And would you like to have a open
unboxings are always good. Yes. But first, before we start, we also have a giveaway.
Oh.
Because people can win some nice prizes today. So go to msi.com/2/insider. There you can perform several actions. The more you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win. We will be giving away several $20 Steam Wallet codes. So even if you didn't win the first time, you still have a chance to win later on in the stream. And let's get some stuff unpacked.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the MasterAir MA620M. So this is quite hefty.
Quite heavy, yes. This is a product we're going to launch end of September, and I believe lots of people already seen during the Computex, but at the moment it's not available in the market yet.
Okay.
So that's the...
So when can people expect it in the market?
End of September.
Okay, end of September.
End of September.
Oh, that's quite close. So for the people who cannot see the giveaway link, I also posted it in chat. And let's do some unboxing. Okay, I already have some accessories. Let's try not to drop this. I will hand this back over to you.
It's very strong.
So this is the cooler? Okay, that's a big guy. So how many heat pipes does that?
It's
6 heat pipes.
6 heat pipes, yes. So this model we have make a little bit
just show it up close.
Smaller. So should we plug in the...
Oh, peeling's always good.
Oh,
always good.
I should make it slower.
Next time we'll do the fancy, very slow peeling.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we have make a little bit
Let me hand
smaller.
it over to you so you can show it a little bit better.
Okay.
I will get the camera to you and make a little bit of space. There we go.
There you go. You can see. Okay, so we have made it a little bit smaller compared to the Threadripper.
This is smaller.
Yes, this is much smaller.
Okay.
And instead of 7 heat pipe, we make to 6 heat pipe, but the performance still stay the same. And additionally, we improved the rain cleaners, because in the past there was some feedback that there was not enough room for the rain. So for this model, we elevate to about 7 centimeters high, so you have enough space for your rain. And additionally, also we still have the ARGB lighting. I think we can plug in and show it.
Let's show it. So we have a setup today with the MEG X570 Ace motherboard with the 3rd gen Ryzen processor, of course. So we can, let me see. There we go. So this is an addressable RGB cooler. There we go.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind, because RGB is sometimes a little bit complicated. So there's 2 types of RGB essentially. the one is addressable, the other one is like regular RGB, but they're quite different in connector.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So for the ARGB, you have a 3-pin, and for the normal RGB, that is 4-pin connector. So I think it's quite easy. You can tell. And
so it's easy to see, but it's still very important because they also use a different voltage.
Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah. Yeah. So another thing we want to quickly highlight is 212 RGB Black that we just launched this year, and this is a refresh product of our one of classic Hyper 212 Evo, and it comes with the RGB edition or the non-RGB. So if you want
the non-addressable, the standard.
Okay, let me do a slow unboxing to show.
This is a more regular size. It's still big, but it's a lot smaller than the one we just had.
Yeah, and the fan sizes, they are both the 120 millimeter, but they are a little bit small. This is much smaller because this has a dual tower, of course. And if you want to...
People are saying no liquid cooling. Oh yes, we will talk about liquid cooling too. Definitely. I'm gonna make some space here. So on this motherboard, we have different kinds of RGB connectors. On the bottom, we have 2 J rainbow connectors, so they are compatible with, for example, this cooler, but also the some of the all-in-one liquid coolers that we'll see later on. And because this is a regular RGB cooler, we have a dedicated header for that on top of this motherboard. So let me also show the Mystic Light software, because it's very easy to see there. If we have the Mystic Light software, if you click on the motherboard, you will see all the different RGB headers on the motherboard. So on top, you already see it blinking. That's the regular JRGB header. So that's what we connect this to. So let me do that first. So the regular RGB connector is a 12 volt connector, whereas addressable is only 5 volts. So really don't confuse them, because you will blow up your products there. Let me show it up close. So sometimes you will see a little bit of gray. That's because we're using a green screen, so the green gets transparent. So that will look kind of interesting. But as you can see, the cooler displays like one color at the same time.
Yes.
And that's the difference between RGB and addressable RGB, right?
Correct, yes.
Because if we take a look at the other cooler.
Don't know if we can.
Yeah, I think we can already see it. Let's see it from the top. I will dim the lights a little bit. So this is the regular RGB cooler, so one color at a time. And then you have the addressable, and there you really see the rainbow effect.
Correct, yeah. You have the multiple color at the same time, and RGB, you only see the one color.
Yeah. So in the software, you also have like a rainbow effect available on the regular RGB cooler, but that will just cycle through colors, whereas here it will display multiple colors at the same time. Ivanoveski is saying, are you actually in the Netherlands? Yes, we're actually in the Netherlands.
We are. Where we are now?
We're now in Eindhoven.
Eindhoven.
Does the Hyper 212 come with extra brackets to fit another 120 millimeter fan?
Yes, it does. It's included. So if you want to add an extra fan to make a push and pull function, then it's included already.
So you can swap out the fan if you want.
No problem. Yes.
Okay. So if you still have any questions, drop them in chat. We'll try to answer as many as possible. So now we saw 2 different air coolers, one regular RGB, one addressable RGB.
Yes, so this 3 air cooler is our black edition for the whole year, and then that's all inspired by the Surge Reaper. And another thing I want to highlight for the Hyper 212 RGB, that the black paint is called nickel coating, so actually also add up the more performances.
Okay, yeah.
So, and also give the really a sleek, clean, cool look. Yep, I think that's all for the air cooler.
Okay, then let's do some liquid cooling.
Yes.
First, let's make some space.
Yes.
So let's disconnect the coolers again. There we go. And let's switch the light back on so we can see something again. It's all still part of the cooler. Before we start with the all-in-one liquid coolers, I first want to open up a page here because we're currently running a very nice campaign together with you guys from Cooler Master, the Play Fast, Play Cool campaign. And it essentially is all about speed and thermals. So play fast, get the best performance, smooth gaming experience, but play cool, still have the best thermals, low noise levels. So if you go to our website, you will find a landing page of Play Fast, Play Cool. Here you can choose your team, play fast. You will see all different kinds of information about speed, about 3rd Gen Ryzen, but also about the new Navi series graphics cards from AMD. If you go to Play Cool, you'll have all kinds of information about cooling design on our motherboards, but also all-in-one liquid coolers from Cooler Master. We have recommended systems, recommended motherboards, and we actually have very nice promotion running together with you as well right now. And that's the back to school promotion because the new school year started. I don't know if many of you are back in school again this week, but there is a very nice promotion together with our X570 motherboards because on selected models, it comes with the cooler you have in front of you, right?
Yes, this one, MasterLiquid ML240L RGB. Yeah, so this one we will be doing a bundle together with MSI for back to school.
Yeah, so this comes with the MEG X570 Ace, the Gaming Pro Carbon Wi-Fi, and X570 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. I know for sure that this campaign is in at least Europe and Asia Pacific. I'm not too sure about USA, but let's check that later. So for sure, Europe, Asia, and Pacific will be able to make use of this campaign. So if you buy one of the selected motherboards, you will get the MasterLiquid ML240L RGB actually for free. So let's go to the coolers.
Yes, liquid cooler. So at the moment, you see this is our current running product, ML240L and ML240R. And I think lots of people know we just launched this Mirage ML240P Mirage. And this is our new high-end segment product that...
Just opening a can. Sorry about that.
We like that noise. So yeah, let's also do some unboxing on this product.
I see already some question in chat. We also have a 3-fan model. Like
yes,
a 360 millimeter
Yeah,
one.
we do have a ML360R available at the moment. So I hope that answered your question, but that doesn't come with the Mirage. So for now, it's only...
So this is like the very new model, right?
Yes, correct. This one we just launched after Computex. So the current plan is we stick with the 240 millimeter. And if you're looking for the 360R, we have already one available on the market. It's ML360R RGB.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. So let's start off with the actual cooler. So 240 millimeter radiator and a water block.
Yes.
So where can we find the pump? In the block or in the radiator?
I don't know where. There you go. Here. No, can you still...
There we go. And then we have the fans. And these are also RGB, right?
Yes, there's all ARGB.
So all addressable RGB in the block, in the fans.
In the pump, yes.
And then I see a lot more stuff. So these are all the materials for different sockets. We have some thermal paste included as well. Then we have a hub.
Yes,
interesting.
Our controller included.
I'm just gonna hand everything over to you, okay? So you can explain what everything is.
Okay, so the biggest feature for this liquid cooler, I'm not sure you can see, okay, is the transparent pump design that enable you to see the coolant. So maybe I can move to close up a bit, so like this, yes. Yep, so you want to do this nice and slow?
Oh, yeah, the peeling, that's always good. Okay, guys, there we go. Oh, that's so satisfying. It's too bad that the microphone is a little bit too far away. The sound of peeling off plastic. So, oh, you actually have more all around. Let's continue. There we go. All new and shiny.
That was a very nice feeling of.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
So let me hand it back over to you.
Yes.
I'll also give you the camera because there is a lot of RGB to show on this, right?
Yes. Yep. So before we light up, just quickly introduce for the pump that, as you can see, it has a transparent top cover that you can see the impeller moving later on, and also you will be able to see the coolant. Normally, the impeller should be on the bottom of the pump, but our developing has tried a multiple material and different kind of technology that we have re-engineered this pump to make it has as much as performance as possible, but while looking cool. And this pump also has a PWM function, so it sends the loading of your CPU and gives the different speed, and that creates a mirage effect. So that's how it's good looking and good performance at the same time.
And it will also give you probably lower noise when the temperature is already low.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, should we?
People in chat are already saying Michiel and his Coke as normal. Edwin is asking, is there a liquid cooler for mini ITX systems?
No, I think for now there is no plan yet, but perhaps in the future, if we receive lots of feedback, then
it's also a bit of a, like, mini ITX systems. You have so many different kinds of mini ITX cases, and some can even fit 240 millimeters. So then you could use the new Mirage cooler actually. But I think you also have multiple 120 millimeter models.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, but for now we focus the mainstream 240 millimeters. So for the small one, maybe.
So if you're going for mini ITX, if you want to use one of these very new coolers, then make sure you get the mini ITX case that has support for 240 millimeter radiators. Then you should be good. Edwin's also asking, can you sync RGB between different hardware brands with software? Yes, you can actually use all these Cooler Master products with Mystic Light. You can just hook them up to an MSI motherboard. It all works well together with, for example, if you have, now we have HyperX modules without RGB, also have them with RGB. You can sync it all up with Cooler Master hardware, etc. Yeah, correct. So our product is all satisfied with the RGB motherboard, so it's all compatible. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's compatible with a lot of different systems. So, and then there's also the hub, because there you can control it with as well, right? So it comes with the controller. So this is a wire solution. Oh, here. So if you don't have the RGB motherboard, then you can use the controller instead to control the mirage effect or colors you want. So you can always use the, no matter what motherboard you have, you can always use the RGB. Yep. Okay. Let's show some RGB then, I think. Let's light it up. I will just dim the lights a little bit. We need candlelight as well. Okay, let's see. So the cables are all included. I think most of them are for the hub, right? Because you can also connect other RGB components to the hub. Yes, so all the cables are included. So I think all the needed cable should be all included. Okay. In the package. Okay, that's the fan. I will just collect the plastic bag so you have a little bit of space to work with. In the meanwhile, if you haven't participated yet, we have a giveaway running. Go to msi.com/2/insider. I will also drop a direct link to Gleam on chat. On Gleam, you can perform different actions. The more actions you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win. We will give away several $20 Steam wallet codes. Maybe while you put this together, we can draw our first winner. So let me open it up. I see we have a lot of entries already, so that's good. So our first winner of today, drawing, moment of truth, is, I think this is a Dutch name, so I can pronounce this. J de Graaf, congratulations. You won the first $20 Steam code. We will give away several more today. So please participate in the giveaway, and then we'll get back to Ellie, because I see you already make it look like an all-in-one water cooling system.
I think I need. Do we have screws in the pack?
Oh, I do have screws. I did have a pack somewhere. Let me get back to the box. I have many. Which one? Which ones do you want?
For the
I think these, right?
For the fence, yes.
So you have a lot of different materials. Which is it? For which sockets is this all compatible?
All of them, including TR4. Also, it's compatible, included in the package.
So you can go all the way up to Threadripper processors.
Correct. Yes.
See someone saying in chat, I wished one of these instead of the stock rising cooler. We're actually using the stock rising cooler today in our demonstration rig, because it is a little bit complicated to use an all-in-one liquid cooler on a test bench like this. But of course, it's a huge upgrade if you come from the stock. It's already quite a decent cooler, the one that comes with the higher tier Ryzen cooler. So this is included in 3rd gen with the Ryzen 7 and Ryzen 9. So Ryzen 5 will have a different cooler. But especially if you go higher up, if you're running a Ryzen 9, for example, and if you want to get the maximum performance, because it also has technologies like Precision Boost Overdrive, where actually the performance will increase if the cooling is better, then it really makes sense to use good aftermarket cooling. I think I have something again.
Yeah, I need some pin header.
You need a header. Which one?
For the controller, the ARGB controller.
Let me see. Because we have so much stuff included with this. I think this looks a bit like header cables. Oh, I think this is for the fans, actually.
Let's try.
Yeah, I think it includes a header. So it's a cable, and it essentially goes from one RGB header that you have on the motherboard to the 3
split cable
RGB devices that you have on the cooler, because you have the pump with the RGB. You have 2 fans, so 3 in total. And to make sure you can connect it all to one RGB header, you have the cable on there.
Let's see.
Option X say Abhishek. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Difficult name. I'm using i7 9th generation and a mini cooler, which costs $20. It's going good, man, can reduce 10 degrees effectively. Yeah, I think aftermarket coolers in general are quite a lot more efficient compared to the stock coolers. So we have some assistance with all the cables, because there are many. Monostain is asking, so I just came to the stream, what's happening? We're here today with Cooler Master. Cooler Master, we're talking first to Ellie about thermal, and later on her colleague will join and talk about power. So, for example, power supplies. Now we have the new, what was the name? MasterLiquid ML240P Mirage. It's a difficult name. So that's a new cooler by Cooler Master. It's 240 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooling system with a lot of addressable RGB that we're connecting right now. It's addressable as well, so you have multiple colors at the same time. Merrick is asking, will the Mirage Effect fans will be sold separately from the cooler?
Sorry?
Will the Mirage Effect fans be sold separately from the cooler? I think
no.
the Mirage Effect is in the pump, right?
In the pump, yes. Yeah. So it will not be affected.
You have like a fan effect within the pump?
Yeah. So the Mirage is in the pump. So if you use different fan, then it will not affect for the pump.
Yeah. So we will show it up close later on if everything's
that's
connected.
What I'm missing.
The ping.
Oh, we have some headers as well.
That's what we were looking for. The ping for the controller.
It says if you purchase the ARGB controller, you can use it on fans. That's not the Mirage Effect. They're inside the waterboard. So these are like interconnectors for the. Maybe we can show it up close.
That's for the fans.
So there's like you have like a small header that goes into the cable, and on the other side into the hub, right?
Yes, correct. So it's for ARGB, there's 3 pin that you can see clearly here.
So 3 pin, 5 volts. Don't confuse this with regular RGB.
And we need the SATA for the
Miller Geller is asking, when is the giveaway? Giveaway is actually already running. So if you go to msi.com/2/insider, I will also post direct link to Gleam for you in chat. So it is running throughout the stream. We'll give away several $20 Steam wallet codes. So please enter if you haven't done so already. Monostain is asking, should I get a third-party cooler for a Ryzen 3600 or should I stick with the default? Well, I think that's an easy question, right?
Should I
get a third-party cooler for Ryzen 3600 or should I stick with the default?
I think you should stick with the default.
Yeah?
Yeah. Let's see. I think that for the fan.
Yeah.
Green connector.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have right here. Do we make that? There we go. Is this? Yeah, this is the water block. So let me just unplug it. So there you can really see the Mirage effect, right? So that's like it looks a bit like a fan.
I think it's.
Yeah. No, I have it switched on purpose so you can really see it spinning up. So this is the Mirage effect, right?
Correct, yeah. But we can control via the controller.
Okay, then I'll just keep it plugged in.
A little bit of reflection. This.
Yeah, we have the studio light, so it's hard to get. So on the controller, you have several buttons. And does it control the speed of the...
Yeah, it control the frequency of the impeller. So that's how you see the Mirage when the lighting kind of spreading out and you see the after shadow and you see different colors.
So it will definitely look interesting once it turns green because of the green screen.
It'll look like a space.
So there are 4 buttons. With one, you switch the colors, and the other one is the frequency.
So you switch the one you switch with the color, and the other one you switch between ARGB or RGB.
Okay.
And the other one you can have.
So you can also use like static RGB.
Correct. Yes. And the third one you can use for the preset mode. So I think we have total 8 mode, that breathing or static inside. So you can just adjust by the controller. And last one is a frequency for the fan or the impeller.
Okay, that's cool. Merrick is asking, and Lynn is from Cooler Master also?
Yes,
that's your colleague.
That's my colleague.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have any questions to Cooler Master, Alice colleagues also in chat answering questions. Of course, we are answering questions on stream.
Oh, that was green.
Yeah, green always looks interesting here. A green screen is very nice, but then RGB came out, and then it became very complicated. Afshishek's asking, what's the costliest cooler that is available right now? So you mean like most expensive, I would guess?
For Cooler Master? All-in-one cooler or?
Yeah, like air cooler, all-in-one water cooler.
I would say if it's all-in-one cooler, then for now will be this one, ML3 240p. But of course, there's something coming up, but I cannot release yet. There'll be something
They have like a small teaser.
Yeah, something more high-end that you probably see a little bit.
Just asking performance.
So this one, the TDP is up to 280 watt, but actually this is under the normal condition. But of course, you can go even higher with the overclocking. But we prefer to tell the TDP based on regular usage, not always overclocking.
Yeah.
So 280 TDP.
So just to put this in perspective, if you have like 3rd gen Ryzen, a 3600 is 65 watts TDP, for example. If you go to a Ryzen 9, you will go up to 105 watts, but this goes up to 280 watts.
280
so
watts,
even
yes.
if you go high-end desktop platform with, for example, 32-core Threadripper, you can even cool it with this, right?
Correct, yes.
Hagen is asking, are you also going to do custom loops and GPU all-in-one solutions?
That I am not sure, but I'm not heard anything about that yet.
And I think probably if you would know, I'm not sure if she would already say it on stream. Fishant is saying, performance, this cooler is Oscar worthy.
Thank you.
Yeah, the looks are, I think, are really nice. Merrick's saying, I always thought the Threadripper coolers are the most like an exclusive, I think.
They're a little bit different because some people they prefer air cooler, some people they prefer a liquid cooler. So it's not. I don't think it's fair to judge which one is the most expensive because some people is just fan with the liquid cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very different coolers indeed.
Yeah.
And it also differs a lot what kind of setup you're using. That's also something we talked about before about previous generation motherboards. For example, if you want to use 3rd gen Ryzen on an older motherboard that has, for example, a B450 chipset, not all of them have very extensive VRM cooling. So then liquid cooling is not always a very good idea because you don't get the airflow that you would get with an air cooler because the motherboard also benefits from that. So the motherboard we have here has a lot of cooling around it, so then perfectly fine to use only one liquid cooler. If you're still using an older motherboard with limited VRM cooling, then it's wise to go for an air cooler because your motherboard will benefit. Ivanovsky is asking, where can I get these masterpieces? I think this is available.
It's available
worldwide,
in worldwide the market. So
check with your local retailer and you should be good to go. Okay.
Okay.
We have more all-in-one liquid coolers.
I think that's all for the liquid cooler, and we still have some fans.
And we have some light again.
Yes, more RGB. It's
a lot of cables. RGB is it can be a little bit difficult sometimes with setting up everything correctly. So do follow the manual because you will need which parts go where, and especially if you want to combine it with other RGB components, it can get quite complicated. So read the manual. Monostain is asking, which motherboard are you using, by the way? We're currently using the MEG X570 Ace. So from our new X570 series, and we're I think right now there is a Ryzen 5 3600 on there. That's simply because it was the only 3rd gen Ryzen CPU we had on hand. But usually, of course, it makes sense to bundle an Ace with Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9, that kind of CPU. Okay.
Okay, let's start with the fan. So I think you have seen lots of RGB already. And
definitely.
for Cooler Master, our next coming months, we are going to release this non-RGB fan. We will be only...
A fan without RGB. Correct. Is that still possible in 2019?
Still. So we would like to focus on performances and also the quietness. And, it's all about performance for this fan and no RGB lighting. So that's...
And I know there are some people that really hate RGB as well. Some really love it, some really hate it. There doesn't really seem to be a middle ground in there.
Yeah. But
so for the ones who don't like RGB, interesting stuff.
So this one we are going to launch soon, like I believe middle of September, at least in Europe. So let's do some unboxing.
Yeah, cool. Let me grab the camera so I can show it up close. It's quite heavy for a fan. I'd say is it like metal you're using in there?
Yes, it's kind of metallic looking on the side. Some people say it looks like a robot or transformer.
So you have,
It's very solid
it is.
feeling.
It's got quite some heft to it. And this is your logo, right?
Yeah.
That's a cool detail.
So this product, the main feature is as I mentioned earlier, we like to focus on the performance. So we will be using a dual bearing for this fan, and dual bearing is usually to use for the extreme conditions. So if you want to do overclocking, or if you are somewhere living very cold or very hot, this is a very suitable bearing. And also, it is very quiet fan. The maximum dBA is 16, I believe. And this one also has the 3-speed profile that you can see from the side. Let's see here. So you can adjust from the low to mid to high.
So it goes on the highest setting, you go up to 1600, but if you don't need as much cooling and you prefer silence, you can just
So the lowest
switch
is
it down.
1200 RPM to 1600 RPM to maximum 1800 RPM. So you can preset your
so you can even go up to 1800.
1800
So the default
RPM.
is 1600.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So you can easily just switch from the button here. No, if it's clear. Here.
And I see some rubber stuff in the box.
Yes,
Maybe you can explain what this is.
Yeah, this is instead of the traditional, the metal screw, and this is easier to install, more user friendly, instead of you have to spin. So this is faster installation. And also we add the outer ring on the fan blade, so this gives the better stability and prevent the vibration for the fans. And on the side, you can see the damper corner. Also, this is for the noise level reduction.
So the rubber edges to make sure that you don't get any noise from the vibrations.
Yes. And another feature I want to highlight is we have this daisy chain for the better cable management. Let me just...
Yeah, because we have 2 cables.
So here, we come with including another cable. You can connect 2 more fans together.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is like the cable you would use if you only use 1 fan?
Correct, yeah.
And this is so you can go up to 3 fans using only 1 PWM header?
Correct, yes. So this is daisy fan cable included also for this fan for the better cable management. Yeah, so we're very excited for
that's
this
also
product.
interesting for example, some ITX models, they have limited availability of PWM headers on the motherboard because, of course, you have limited space.
Yeah.
Then this would really be an interesting solution. Because all of them also support PWM, right?
Yes, all of them, yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Something without RGB. It's been a long time, guys. Resjaslor is saying the fan looks awesome, that it doesn't need any RGB. Yeah, I also really like it. I like the industrial look, especially on the edges, like these metal parts. I think it looks really nice.
And just quickly, also now the highlight is this fan is producing our, Cooler Master is also another division will produce industrial OEM thermal solution. So this fan is actually we collaborate and it's being produced there. So it's very high quality industrial standards fan.
So you're using the expertise from the industrial department now also for consumer products?
Correct, yes.
Cool. See if we have some more questions. Hagen says, we just need MSI Gaming to start putting more USB headers on their boards. We actually have quite a lot already. This board also, for example, you have the Type-C headers as well on the front. So we're already increasing quite a lot in USB headers compared to a couple of years ago. But cases also get a lot more front USB, now front USB Type-C. So yeah, oh, oops, I forgot to play. Like, unboxing is so much easier than repacking it. I'm always struggling with this. Like, putting stuff together is always hard. Like furniture from IKEA. I always have screws left, and then I'm scared that it will collapse again.
Yeah, you can only install once, and you cannot.
No, if you take it apart, then
it never goes back again.
Ivanovsky is saying, so if I got Cooler Master CPU cooler and Cooler Master fans and PSU, then I can control it all in one place, like in one program. How do you mean exactly? Like software? Oh yeah, your colleague is answering about the how much air it can transport.
Okay, the more spec.
So 56 CFM.
Yes. Okay, and the next fan I will quickly introduce is also new launch SF240R, and this is
That's a different fan than what I'm used to.
Yeah?
I'm used to square fans or round fans, but a square housing.
Yes, this is also a square fan, but it will be the all-in-one fan. Of course, for the better cable management instead of 2 each, and we have in total just 2 cable for the fan power and the ARGB lighting. Okay. Oh, I mean you kind of see through.
Yeah, that's a green part, so that's now see-through, but it is RGB. So we're back to RGB.
Yeah, we're back to RGB. So this will be available end of September as well, globally. Yeah.
Can we take it out?
If you want.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay.
Of course. Oh, it's so closed.
So
Do you have a knife?
Yes, prepared.
Let me just get the camera back. I'm always interested to see what's inside. I love unpacking stuff. Because this housing, it's like 2 120mm fans glued to each other pretty much. And it should make it easier installing on radiators, right?
So you save, you don't need 8 screws, you only need total 4 for each corner.
Do you also have like all-in-one liquid coolers that actually come with this already?
Not yet, but the planning is.
Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. Okay, let's open this up. So we have some accessories.
Yes, this is a small ARGB controller.
Okay. And there's also a button on there. So this is to change the color?
So this one is just a preset mode for, I believe, was 6 type of different mode preset for the ARGB lighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it already shows like some kind of effect with
Correct.
the RGB lighting. Cool.
Yes.
And then we have some familiar cables.
More cables.
More RGB cables. There we go. And this is also for the power, right?
Yep, this is for the
SATA power connector. And then we have a very big fan. Or well, 2 fans actually. So you don't necessarily have to use this with an all-in-one liquid cooler, right? If you like just have the position, you can also just install it as an intake or an outtake fan. Cool. Let's plug it in. Oh, so you have separate connectors, so you can also control them separately. Nice. Oh no, it's one connector. Oh, one is for the RGB. Yeah, of course.
One for RGB, one for the fan.
There we go. And then this is addressable, so we have to go to the other side. There we go.
Yay.
That's cool.
Let's plug in controller as well.
So for the controller, you have a separate cable?
Yes.
And then I think we should plug the addressable RGB. So light goes off for a minute, guys. And let's dim the lights as well. There we go. Can you still see what you're doing?
No.
So now you can use the controller to cycle through the effects. That's cool. So even if you have like an older board without addressable RGB, you can still use the cool RGB effects on there. So it had 6 presets, right?
6 presets, yes. This is space mode.
Let me see if I have any more questions.
Let's see. Are there any cooling accessory for laptops in Cooler Master? Yes, we do have a notebook cooling.
But if you have an MSI notebook, you don't need one. But maybe if you don't, then yeah, you might need one. So then you can go to Cooler Master. And let me see if we have some more. Oh, and Lynn is saying to one of our viewers, we shouldn't give away all our secrets. That's why they're viewing, Anne. They're trying to get to know all your secrets. Reshos Lord is saying they'll always need exhaust and intake fans for better airflow and cooling. That's like more of a case-related question.
Yeah.
But yes, if you have the opportunity, the more airflow you have in your case, the lower temperatures your hardware will get. So it definitely helps. Not every case has the same cooling opportunities. So some are very limited in fan positions. And it can still work out, but of course you have to watch out what kind of hardware you're using. So if you're using the highest end Threadripper and you only want to use like one 120 millimeter outtake fan, that might be on the edge. So wouldn't recommend. Ivanovsky is saying, are you going to show a power supply today? Yes, actually your colleague is going to join later on and he will talk with us about power supplies as well. So if you have any questions, save them for a little while and later on in the stream we'll talk about it. Beardy Baldy says, does it have a clear light? Yes, it's very clear actually. It's quite bright because we actually have studio lights as well here, but still it's bright. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's continue because you have something more to show.
Yes. This one is not really thermal related, but I thought it's quite interesting that we
and it has RGB, right?
Yes, another RGB thing that we will also be launching end of September is I will do the unboxing. It's a GPU holder.
So this goes like underneath your graphics card.
Yes, so it's very easy to install. You just kind of install on your PC on the side. Then there you go. You got a GPU support holder. Then it's also a RGB.
Oh, RGB. I'm going to dim the lights again.
Like this.
So you can also see the rainbow effect that comes with addressable RGB lighting. Cool.
Yep. Okay, so
this will be available
end of September.
End of September.
End of September. Okay.
Nice. So we talked a lot about coolers. We talked about some accessories. But between your CPU and cooler, you need something.
We need something. What's the most important for the CPU cooler?
That you have toothpaste in between, right?
Yes.
Let me put the lights back on. So you brought something. Let me get you the camera. Because I thought this was really interesting.
This is our new thermal paste, and it's called MasterGel series. So what's so special about this is has a flat nozzle that you can apply really easily and very even on your CPU without wasting, or actually you have to kind of scratch after you apply it on the CPU. So
that's also why it's so wide instead of round.
Yes.
So usually you would have like a grain of rice pretty much of cooling paste like on the middle of your CPU.
Yeah.
But now you can already spread it using
this new MasterGel. So
okay.
Would you like to do a demonstration?
Yeah, let's try it out.
Let's test
I will just give
skill.
some stuff to you because it's quite full in here. Let's try it out. I have a CPU right here. Yeah, there we go. Let's grab the camera too. So I hope we can see this properly. So here we have a nice AMD Ryzen CPU, and we're going to apply some cooling paste. How should I do this? Like just keep it like this and slowly
squeeze and
squeeze, and at the same time drag it like to the side.
Yes, and you.
And should I do it like multiple times?
2 times.
Maximum. 2 times. So it's like 2 stripes.
2 stripes in the middle, because once you put the CPU, then it's gonna squeeze to the side. So.
Okay. So nice and slowly. Okay. Okay, you have to be careful with this. Okay. Yeah, like that.
Yes, doing good job.
And then a second stripe. There we go.
So what do you think?
Yeah, that's easy.
Very easy, right?
Yeah, it's very easy. And it's already spread over your CPU.
Yeah.
Especially now, like you have like the 3rd gen Ryzen, and the Ryzen 9 actually uses 2 chiplets. So they're physically not in the middle anymore. So then it's more important that you get it evenly spread. So then I think it's very useful. Cool.
Yep, this one is actually already available in the market. So I think if you're looking for them, just contact your local reseller. And we have a 3 level. One is Maker and Pro and Regular for the different performances.
Okay, so is it also like in different circumstances that a certain one is better? Or is it like thermal performance,
yeah,
one is better than the other?
Correct,
okay.
Yeah, thermal performances.
So like you have a more cost-effective option, and then you have a higher-end option with better connectivity.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let me put the CPU to the side before there is thermal paste all around our studio, because that happens sometimes. But we have the cap.
Oh, here.
Thank you. There you go. Cool. So we saw a lot of thermal stuff.
Yes.
Anything else to add, or maybe some more questions, because this is your final chance to ask Ellie everything you want to know about Cooler Master thermal stuff. And it is a lot, so it can be about air coolers, all-in-one liquid coolers,
everything,
accessories, fans.
RGB thermal paste.
That's a great idea.
Maybe, yeah.
I have heard RGB CPU already, but RGB thermal paste is a new one. It's like unicorn puke all over your CPU. Sounds like a good idea. MSI might steal that idea, by the way, just so you know. Let me see. Hagen is saying to your colleague and Ling in chat, I guess it would have been nice for an all-in-one designer to make fans look pretty on both sides for push-pull. I think also with the SF240R ARGB, so like the 240 millimeter fan, like 2 times 120, that would also make for quite easy push-pull configuration.
You mean on the liquid cooler?
Yeah, you like sandwich, you need 2 of them, you sandwich them in between. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Then thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you again in the future.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're also running a giveaway right now, so if you haven't participated yet, go to msi.com/2/insider. We will have several codes throughout the stream. We already have 1 happy winner. If you haven't participated yet, please do so. I will also post a direct link to Gleam in the chat. So in Gleam, you can perform multiple actions. The more actions you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win. So I think, at least I hope, Anne is staying in chat a little bit longer. So still, if you have questions in between, just drop them. I see that Anne is already answering quite a lot of questions there. So if you're on Twitch or Facebook or Mixer, Periscope, Anne is currently in the YouTube chat. So if you want to get involved there, switch to YouTube. And then let's draw another winner. Abhishek saying in chat, can we add toothpaste instead of thermal paste? Yes, you can always use toothpaste. I cannot guarantee that it will work as well as thermal paste. I'm wondering actually, would toothpaste perform better than not using any paste in between at all? I have to try that out sometime. Not with a new CPU probably. So let me see, our next winner is Matt Roll. Congratulations. He also won a $20 Steam code. We'll probably mail it to you in the coming days. So for everyone who hasn't participated yet, please do so. Matt, congratulations. And then we go to our second guest. Hi, Andre.
And suddenly I appear. Yes.
Welcome in our studio.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So Andre is also from Cooler Master.
Correct.
Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Andre, as you can also see down below the screen. I'm a business developer for all things related to power within Cooler Master. And today I want to show you...
So you also brought some stuff.
I've brought some stuff.
You guys have a lot of stuff.
Yes, we do, we do. And it's not only about purely power supplies today. I also brought some smaller stuff that makes it a little bit easier to build your system if you want to.
Some accessories that go with a power supply.
Yeah. Or if you want to tweak your system a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer. So, yeah. Not a lot of RGB. I'm sorry about that.
Not a lot of RGB.
No.
I think we've seen a lot of RGB today.
So we're not gonna.
So for the RGB haters, this is your part of the stream.
Yes. This is a lot of black. Let's put it that way. Yes.
So actually, a couple of weeks ago, we did a very nice build with a case modder. We invited him over to our studio, Tim, and he actually did like the custom cable sleeving.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't need to do that complicated yourself, right?
No.
So he was like struggling around with the lighter. Well, he's very good at it, so he was not really struggling. But if you're a noob in building computers, then that might be a little bit complicated because you actually have to take your plug completely apart, wire by wire, and you all have to sleeve them individually.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a solution for that, right?
I've got a solution for that, yeah. But we'll get to that later if you're okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start with the stuff that gives your system power.
You need to plug them in something.
Yes. Otherwise it does not work. All right. So today I've brought our V750 Gold power supply.
So that gives away a couple of things.
That gives away a couple of things.
It's 300 watts and it's 80 plus bronze, right?
No, it's not. It's 750 watt and it's 80 plus gold rated power supply. And that's something that you will see in our product naming more often, that the 80 plus certification is already in the product name.
And that's usually also a bit how the product stack is, right?
Yeah.
So the higher quality, the more high-end power supply, the better the 80 plus certification.
Basically, it starts with 80 plus standard or 80 plus white. Sometimes we like to call it 80 plus white. Some people call it 80 plus standard, but that's what
percentage-wise, it's the same. So the efficiency.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So then it goes up to bronze, and it goes up to silver, gold. A platinum, titanium, or whatever. So, but today I've brought the V750 Gold, and I'd like to show you a little bit more about it. To start off, I think we also have a small screenshot of the current lineup of our V Gold series. Yes, that's the one. So there are 4 models. It's a V550, 650, 750, and an 850. It's quite easy, of course. 550 watts, 650 watts, 750, and 850 watts.
And all of them are 80 plus gold, right?
All of them are 80 plus gold. Yes. So of course, if you're building a more power system would needs a little bit more power, then go for something a little bit more higher than 550. But also check your cables, because with the 850 and the 750 and the 650, a bit more cables are included than, for example, with the 550.
So, for example, if you want to use multiple graphics card and you need more PCI Express power connectors.
Yes, of course, it all makes sense because you need more power, and with more power, you probably need more cables. So, it's but something you should keep in mind when you're checking for the correct power supply. Okay, so let's dive into this box, I would say.
In the meanwhile, I already see a question in chat. Abhishek is asking, can it work on 110 volts?
This one can, yes.
So that's like, for example, in the United States, what you would use?
Yes, this one can. This is also available worldwide, so in the US, in Europe, in Asia.
So it's all like exactly the same model. And for example, if you live in Europe and you move to the States, you can keep on using it, just use a different cable, right?
Exactly. Good that you mentioned it, because you will need another cable indeed. Yes. Okay, so diving into the box, we have a piece of paper which tells you some safety instructions and what's all included. Of course, it's pretty much packed to keep it very, very safe during transport.
They have a nice bag to keep everything.
Yeah, and I think that's very nice in this series, because this is a power supply that comes in a very nice bag, so you can put it away neatly if you want to.
I think the cable bag is really handy because
Yes.
especially this is a modular power supply, so you can take all cables out. I remember my first modular power supply, and like after half a year, I lost like half of the cables, like all the ones I wasn't using at first. But then I expanded my system, so I needed more cables, and
You're
I
like,
could.
where are they?
Where are
they? Yeah. So we have
that
this,
comes in handy.
indeed. Yes. So yeah, indeed, this is a nice cloth for protection. As you mentioned already, it's perhaps you can move the camera a little bit. Yeah, of course, you can see it's a fully modular power supply, as you can see.
Because in the past, when a power supply was modular, usually you still had the ATX connector for the motherboard and the 4 or 8 pin connector for the CPU. They were still attached to the power supply, right?
Well, basically there are three versions. You have a fully modular power supply like this one. Then you have a semi-modular, and then indeed that's what you mentioned. Then your 24-pin is always.
But that's in the past what they just called modular because there was no full modular.
True. But this came out a little bit later, and this is a real full modular. Yeah, it's quite clear. There's nothing attached. Of course, yeah, this little baby you will need anyway.
So what they called modular before is now semi-modular.
Yeah, true. And there's a non-modular power supply. I have one with me today as well, but we'll talk about that later. So let's dive into a little bit more detail of what comes with this very nice PSU. A lot of cables, which
you said no RGB today, but I already see some suggestions in chat. RGB modular PSU cables, the future of cable management and custom cables.
Yeah, we can RGB.
Is your colleague writing that down?
I think he is. I'm not sure if he's joining. I know Anne is still here.
No, okay, Anne, take notes.
yeah, but Anne knows him well, so all right. Okay.
So that's a lot of cable. This is the 750 watts version?
750 watt, yeah. So we have indeed the nice little bag if you don't want to use your cables. This is, of course, this is what you will need to swap if you're moving to the States or to the UK, or I believe even Switzerland has its own power cable. I wasn't really aware. I was there like 2 weeks ago, and then I took a look at the socket at the wall, and like, this looks different than what we usually use.
Socket.
Yes.
Just play safe.
So of course, all the cables that you might need, but also if you wanna, make it a little bit neat and tidy, there's switch to that one, a cable binder, and even some old-fashioned, but everybody loves them, right? Those tie wraps to make sure that everything is put neatly together.
Tie wraps are also great to fix things.
Yes.
We have a question in chat. Abhishek is asking, can it work in the AC frequency range of 50 to 65 hertz? Because in India they have 50 hertz power supply input. So I think that works, right? Because that's also related to the 230, 110 hertz story.
Yes.
So if I'm correct, Europe, for example, has 230 volts at 50 hertz, and then you have the US, they have 110 at 60 hertz.
Yes.
So yeah, with 50 to, I don't know if about 65, but
yeah, that's a bit strange to me as well.
But from 50 to 60 should be fine.
Should be fine. Yes. Yeah.
Edwin is asking, do the Cooler Master power supplies have fuses so you can repair it yourself? So Edwin, are you familiar with blowing up power supplies? Because usually you don't have to replace fuses yourself.
I would not recommend opening up your power supply.
And that can be really tricky, right?
Yes, I would not recommend it. So if it's really broken and it's in your warranty, just contact your local reseller or contact Cooler Master to make sure you get it fixed. And that's something good about this series. This comes with a 10-year warranty. So you'll be safe for the next 10 years when you buy it. That if it breaks, you're covered, and you won't have to open it up yourself.
Yeah. So don't take the risk. Just just bring it back for professional repair.
That's what I would do. Yes. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. Well, as I already mentioned, of course, it's an 80 plus. Over there, 80 plus rated power supply.
The nice label right there, right?
Yeah, over there, indeed. It's a 135 millimeter fan. It's a fluid dynamic fan, so it's very, very quiet and it will last for quite a while. But the fan will not always spin, because if your system is not on heavy load, let's say to 40% of it needs, then the fan will not spin. If that's something that you don't like, or you just want to test if it's working, then there's a neat little button right here. If you push it, then the fan will always spin. But if you like it a little bit more quiet, and you then just keep the mode enabled, so the fan will only spin when the PSU thinks it needs to spin indeed.
And this can also be for thermal reasons, right? Because the fan will also like function a little bit as an exhaust of your system. So if your thermals in your case are limited, you could actually decide to switch the fan on to help it exhaust the heat from your case. It's like a semi-passive cooling. So that's something we also know from, for example, our graphics cards and our X570 motherboard. So they also switch off if the temperature allows it. So they also switch the fan off. Is it like on load, or is it on temperature, or how does it trigger?
Load. It's on load.
Okay.
It's on load. Yeah.
So if you go like beyond a certain point of
it's 40%. 40% of the capacity. If it's below, then the fan will not turn on and will not spin, to make sure that it's as quiet as you want it to be.
So in some cases, it could even be interesting, even though you have quite a power efficient system, for example, to get a higher tier model, because it will stay passive for longer.
Yeah, that's an opportunity. Yeah, that's a possibility. Yes.
Interesting.
Then
some more questions.
Oh.
Can you reset the power supply from the outside? Like reset in what way would you want to reset the power supply?
I'm also a bit curious what you would want to reset.
Like the button for the fan control is just on the back.
Yeah.
So that will be on the back of your case on the outside.
Yes. And of course here's the on. Yeah, perhaps you can have the close-up cam. Of course here's the on-off switch. So this is all on the back of your system. So also the button for the fanless mode is right on the back of your PSU.
So you will easily be able to access them just on the back of your case. Edward is saying, I love semi-passive PSUs. My 750 watt PSU is pushing 8700K OC and RTX 2080 OC without even spinning the fan under load. Yeah, I also think it's very nice. We're seeing it more and more in different products. Semi-passive it's really useful, because in many circumstances, new products have like technologies to get to a really efficient power level, and there they don't need the loud cooling of a fast spinning fan. So makes sense. Let's see if we have more questions. Saga is saying you can run platinum or titanium without turning on fans. Platinum and titanium is like a different range of power supplies.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. It's not always the same thing. For example, we have our V Platinum as well, and that doesn't have the same semi-fanless mode. It's really about the temperature of the PSU, if it's allowed to run yes or no. It doesn't really necessarily connect it to each other in that way. No.
Yeah. Okay, clear. If you have more questions, just drop them in chat. We'll try to answer them. And,
something about the cables. I know it might be just black cables, but that's something that a lot of people, of course, will like, because we used to see some, those mustard ketchup cables. Of course, this is all flat black cables, and also they are a little bit thicker. You won't notice from just the outside, but actually this is a 16 AWG cable, and industry standard is 18 AWG. And of course, if the cable is a little bit thicker, that means there's less resistance, so there's less heat, and you don't want heat in your case at all, right? So that's something. So
that's like the actual feature. Wire.
Yeah, it's
within.
Just,
so that one is thicker.
It's thicker. So there's less resistance, and resistance usually means heat, and we don't, like I mentioned, you don't want any heat in your case. Okay, I think that covers it for V Gold.
Rashasler is asking, what's gold, silver, plat in PSUs? So that's like
the efficiency level. The efficiency, yeah. So actually, of course, silver comes below gold, and below silver comes bronze.
So you have like the white /80 plus.
Yeah. Yes.
Then bronze, then silver, gold, platinum.
Yeah, and
titanium?
titanium, I believe. Yeah, yes.
I think that's where it...
That's where it ends at the moment. Yeah, yeah. So that just means how efficient the PSU actually works. So how much power that it drains from your wall socket is also transferred and used into your system.
Because
so
you always lose like a little bit of power.
You always lose a little bit, and you want to lose as less as you can because you're paying for your power bill, of course. So you want to make sure that every power that it drains, that it's being used as an effective way. So you want to have a most effective PSU as you can possibly get. But it's always a little bit price, feature, but that's...
So for example, if you have like if it drags 100 watts from your wall and it's rated at 90% efficiency, then that means your system is actually only using 90 watts, but it will take the 100 watts from your wall because you're losing that 10%, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And based on what the efficiency percentage of the power supply is, that difference will be smaller and smaller.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Some people think that, for example, a 750 watt always drains 750 watts. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. Some people think that, but if I buy a powerful PSU, then it will always drain that amount of watt. But it doesn't. It doesn't work in that way.
And what's like the ideal like wattage that you need? Like for example, your system drains 400 watts. What would you recommend to take?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I would say always, go at least for gold. But like I mentioned, usually a gold power supply has a different price tag than a silver or a bronze or a white one. So it's really on what you're looking for.
Would you take, for example, a 500 watt or a 600? How much headroom should you leave?
How do you mean exactly? I'm sorry.
Like for example, you have a system that
I
consumes 400 watts.
Yeah.
Should you be like, would 450 watts be plenty of headroom? Is it better to take 500 watts?
Some people like to overkill it a little bit and always take a 750 or an 850. But I would say if your system is in need of at least 400, then I would go for 100 watt more, 500. But also if you want to be future proof and you know that you're perhaps going to upgrade your system, then you can perhaps in advance already buy a little bit more powerful power supply.
And what's like the percentage of load that the power supply is most efficient at?
Depends a little bit on the model, but I believe it should be around 80-85%.
Okay. So that's also something you could calculate. How much does it use most of the time, and then. Okay. Abhishek's asking, do you still use copper in those cables?
I'm not sure. That's something I'll need to check. Yeah. If you want, you can drop me an email. I've got an email address. So that's questions@coolermaster.eu. I can answer it later on if you want to.
I think that's definitely useful. So drop him the question in
questions@coolermaster.eu.
Questions@coolermaster.eu.
Yes.
And then you will get an answer on your question later on.
Yeah.
Edward is saying 50% more is the best to have a big gap in any case. I think that's quite a lot, right? 50%.
I think that I would, because that means if you're 15%, 15 or 50. I think
50.
I think that's a little bit too much.
So, like for example, if your system draws 400 watts, you don't need
an 800. No. To me, I wouldn't do that. But again, if you know that you're going to upgrade or you want to be future proof, feel free to do so, of course. But
And also on your website, you have a nice tool, right? Because I don't think anyone has got like a power socket where they can see how much the system does.
It is under construction at the moment. So I would love to refer to you guys. But it's under construction, so I cannot point it out right now. But yes, there used to be a PSU calculator, but it's under construction at the moment. Yes.
So we'll be back again?
Yes, it will be back. Yeah.
Cool. And there it's just like you can put in
the components that you have, basically your build, and then it rolls out. Okay, this is what you.
It gives you an indication of how.
This is what you'll need.
Because I can imagine for some people it's really hard to guess how much their system uses.
Yes.
Usually you can have an educated guess when adding up TDPs, but of course there's more components that you don't know the exact power usage of, and usually you also have a lot of stuff around only the base components. So it depends on how many hard drives do you have also, and how many RGB stuff do you have in your case?
A lot nowadays, right?
A lot of that, yeah. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So we had the gold one.
Yes.
And I have one more.
I have one more. So let me put this just on the side here.
Make some space.
Make a little bit of space, yes.
Sanity Knows is saying in Twitch chat 100 to 150 watt spare room is enough. Yeah, I think so too. That's like quite okay, right?
Okay.
So here we can already see the cables are
this is
attached to the
quite
PC.
a difficult, quite an obvious difference. All right. Okay, this is one of our most recent models. This has been launched actually just 3-4 weeks ago. It might depend a little bit on where you're living. In Europe, it's been released, like I mentioned, a couple of weeks ago. US, I think it is launched, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And this is, as you can see, an 80 plus white or 80 plus standard. Again, yeah, that's a little bit of difference. We like to call it 80 plus white power supply. This is our MWE 750 version 2. V2 to call it that way. It's not on the box, but it is our revised model at the moment. And as you can see, in comparison with the V Gold, this is a non-modular power supply. So all the cables are attached to the PSU. You cannot take it out like you can do with a full modular power supply. And it's an 80 plus white, so it's slightly less efficient than an 80 plus gold, but it's also a 750 in this example. And if you can pull up, you already have it over there.
I already have it open
prepared.
up.
Okay,
I'm
that's
prepared,
good.
definitely.
Okay. This is a very wide range. It starts from 400, then 450, 500, 550, onwards to 750. And
so that's indeed a very big range. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different models.
Yes.
So there's something to choose from.
There's something to choose from. So whatever your build is, I'm sure you can find what you need with our MWE white power supply. One thing I do notice, I need to notice, the question that just came up: can you use it in the US? This one you cannot, because as you can see on the label, this is a 230 volt. Version for Europe, but there's also a version available in the US that is, of course, compatible with the US market. But this one you cannot take with you if you're moving from Europe to the US or the other way around.
For example, the V750 Gold, it has like an integrated system that recognizes.
Yes. Yeah, that's what you call a full range power supply, and this is not a full range power supply.
So that one will switch automatically to the right.
Yes.
Okay. So it is available in both regions, but you need to have that specific model that was sold in your region.
Yes.
Okay. So that's for the fan.
For the fan, this is a 120 millimeter fan, so it's a bit smaller.
So compared to the other one was 135, right?
Yes, it's a bit smaller. Also, this PSU has a standby mode, or a silent mode, we like to call it. So that means that the fan won't spin when your system is really in standby mode or in very low power state.
So also like semi-passive.
Semi-passive. I wouldn't. The V Gold that I just mentioned, it goes way further, of course, up to 40% load. The fan won't spin. This one will not spin when your PC is in idle, or just perhaps when you're just typing, I don't know, a Word or an email document or anything. But it's just in really low needs. Although this is an entry model power supply, actually this is our most entry model power supply at the moment. As you can see, the cables are still nice.
Not the old school stuff.
Not the old school stuff. No.
And so if you want to do a retro build, then this is not the power supply for you.
No. This looks quite neat already. So I think that's quite nice. Although we know it's our entry level, we do care about the look and feel of the cables.
What's also is asking how many pins, is it support for an SSD? Like in how many SATA connectors you have? Or?
Yeah, it's here on the
But I think this
back.
also depends on the model, right?
It depends on the model.
400
yes.
to 750
I
watts.
think this one says 2 if I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have 2 times SATA. This is the 750 model.
Yeah. I think it's good to show also on the...
Yeah.
Because that's something we also checked in our packaging, because sometimes we got the feedback, sometimes you can't really see all the cables that come with each PSU. So in our new packaging, we will always make sure that this is visible on the packaging as well. And of course, I see you.
And this is also cool. Yeah, I'm just scrolling a little bit through the product page.
Yeah.
And there you also see the cable length. That comes in handy, especially if you want to do like really tight cable management, so you know where you can go around and stuff. You can see it for each cable.
Yeah, so just go to coolermaster.com, search for the model that you need, and you'll be able to find all the details. Yeah, they'll be able to find it. Yeah.
So this model does not have the button, right? That you can switch the fan mode.
No. This is the silent mode, I'd like to call it, is really just for the standby and the really low power.
So that will just automatically trigger.
Yes. What I do want to highlight is that from 600 watts and up, and then I need to search a little bit if I can find it quickly. Where is it? Is the additional EPS for your PSU, because that's something you don't see a lot. Also, where is it? No. Ah, yeah, over there. So of course you have your 8-pin, and this is your 4+4, and from 600 watts and up. Also, this model comes with the additional EPS for your CPU power needs. I think that's quite nice. Something you don't see a lot in entry level PSUs, but the MWE White does feature it. This one comes with 3-year warranty, so you're safe for quite a while. So in general, I think if you're in need of a PSU and you're a little bit more on the cost-effective page, you wanna make sure that you're building a system that is neat, but it doesn't, cost you too much money. I think this is a good solution over there. 400 watt up to 750. Yeah, basically all the power that you might need. It's available.
It's also a bit dependent probably on how much you use your computer. I can imagine that if you really game a lot and if you're using your PCs for several hours a day for that, then in the end, higher efficiency will pay back.
Yes,
in your
energy bill.
But
yeah. Of course, energy. Depends on where you live, is on how expensive it is. But nobody likes to pay, right? So
So if you only send a couple of emails a day, then then it doesn't matter as much as when you use it under heavy load for a long time.
Yeah, it's a bit of how enthusiastic are you about your PC build? But I'm sure this will at least cover the needs that you might have.
Okay.
All right.
Let me see.
Any questions?
Yeah, Edwin's asking: is there a difference between the models of how many 6 or 8 pins connectors they have? So that will be for graphics card.
Yes, and basically it's more or less the same question. That should be on the box or at least on our website.
Because here I have the 750 watt. Okay, I think if I would change this to, for example, 450.
I think that will work, and it does.
And then
work.
if I go to the bottom, then you will see how many connectors it has. Let me see what this
750.
Here I have the 450. So the 750, for example, has 2 6+2 connectors, and this one only has 1, for example. So it does differ.
And I think
also the higher you go, the more connectors you will have.
But I think we also started with when I showed the V Gold. Usually the powerful the PSU is, you will get more connectors as well. It makes sense because then you need more power, so you'll need more cables.
Clear story.
All
I see Eduardo is asking, what's the giveaway link? I think that's a very good bridge because
that's your question. I don't know about that.
We indeed do have a giveaway. I dropped the link in chat right now. You can also go to msi.com/2/insider. There you can perform several actions. The more actions you perform, the bigger chance you will have to win. So definitely sign up if you haven't done so already. If you did already sign up, you will automatically be enrolled in all the draws that we do during this live stream. So let's do another one, because we have 2 winners so far, but we need some more. And then we have some more stuff to show. So our next winner. Do you want to try to pronounce the name?
Let me see, where is it?
Let me see if I have a hard one for you. Oh, we also have a nickname. Maybe that's easy.
Okay.
That's doable, right?
Jeremy, I would say.
Yeah,
yes.
Jeremy, not with a G, but with a G. Yeah, with a G, not with a J.
Yeah, from the Philippines. Okay.
Congratulations,
nice.
You won a $20 Steam wallet code. We'll email it to you in the coming days. If you haven't signed up yet, please do so, and then we will continue because we have some more stuff to show.
Yes. I do see a question. I think, let me see. Oh, it's quite a difficult name, but Abhishek Paitnak, I'm not sure, but he's asking, is the PSU made of plastic or from metal? It's from metal, because plastic wouldn't be a very...
and that's always the case with power supplies, right?
Yes, yes.
I think that's also like with certain requirements that you have for certain certifications.
Yes, there's a lot of certifications and a lot of safety stuff. Gets updated every time, by the way. It's from regulation from government and stuff and safety. So yeah, that's something that's always important.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Cool.
I think you teased it a little bit when you introduced me and we talked about cables and modifying your cables.
About what you brought.
Well, I brought some sleeved extension cables, and this one is basically...
you actually brought 2 of them.
I brought 2 of them, but I will only show this one because this one is blue, and I brought another one which is black and green, and we know what happens on green.
Yeah, green is complicated.
So
we're going for blue today, but you have this in a whole range of colors, right?
Yes, it's available in green. Yeah,
I have some.
Yeah, pictures are very nice. So we have it in a red.
So
and
today
black.
we have that one.
Yeah, and I actually also have the green one with me, but
that one is complicated.
Showing.
So this one would look very cool with the Gaming Plus motherboard, the black and red, like the traditional gaming colors.
Yeah, MSI colors as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's white and black. There's white and black, and there's also full black. It's a little bit tough to see.
Here.
Yeah, it's over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think here it's also
yeah.
The green ones. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a nice example as well. Yeah, basically it's an extension cable, of course, for your cables. So
this like replaces, or it's just an extension?
I wouldn't say replace. You could do it, but it's 30 centimeters, I believe. So it might be a little bit on the short side for each build that you might do. Let me see how this works. All right.
So, for example, you could like have the regular connector nice and tidy behind the motherboard tray, and you can easily plug this in behind so you don't see it.
Yeah, and then you see, then this is the effect that you will have on your system.
So all cables individually sleeve.
Yes, it also comes with, and this is always nice, I call it cable comps. Some people call it cable guiders or gaiters. I'm not really sure, but I would say it's a cable comp. Of course, you get this as well to make sure that your cable is very neatly positioned in your case. So this is what you'll get with it as well. Also, this is a little bit thicker than the standard. Again, this is the 16 AWG thickness of the cable. Again, industry standard is 18. So it's also thicker, so less resistance, less heat. So yeah, if you want to tweak your system, if you want to give it your own look, check out what color you might like, and just pick the one you like most, or go for all black. It's also possible, of course. Perhaps you are using an older PSU with, again, those mustard yellow cables. Yeah, you can go for an all black look as well if you want to or go for blue. I like blue. I'm a blue guy, so yeah, I would choose for blue. Yes. Oh, that's a nice song.
But
yes.
Also, for example, if you already have black cables, there's still like the
non-sleeved.
These are all individually sleeved.
Yes.
So it looks a little bit like a case mod, pretty much already.
Yeah. It's a really easy. Let's say
it's like slightly cheating case mod.
Yes. It's when you plug it in, you will immediately say, okay, this looks pretty nice. This is better than what I used to have. So, all right.
Libisharep, I don't know if I pronounced correctly. Lee says, question for Michiel and MSI Gaming. Do you think the lower end MSI motherboards will have trouble supporting upcoming 3950X 16-core AMD CPU? It depends a bit on what you mean with lower end. Like, do you mean in the current generation, like X570? Because the X570 range, the full range, will easily run this CPU. Of course, if you're going to do overclocking, then it makes sense to go for a higher model, as they have a more extensive VRM, cooling. But if you're running it on stock, the full X570 range will run Ryzen 9 processors without any issue. If you still have an older motherboard, for example a 300 or a 400 series, it very much depends on the model that you have. If you have a top tier X470 motherboard, then no problem at all. If you want to run this on an A320 entry-level model, that will be difficult, of course, because the VRM will be too limited, the cooling will be too limited, so I wouldn't recommend it. Always try to make logical combinations. If you're running a top-tier CPU, it doesn't make sense to combine it with an extremely entry-level motherboard. But with X570 on stock, you're always good to go. Okay. Let me see. Abhishek is asking, what if any wires touches the PSU and we get a shock? What are the odds of getting a shock? Well, if you use the product correctly, you shouldn't get a shock at all, right?
No. But of course, there are all kinds of safety features built in the PSU that it shuts off if there's any chance of overload, or indeed, how do you call it in English? Kortsluiting. I'm not sure in English. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like you have like the overcurrent protection in there, right?
Yes. But of course, it should not touch.
So it's all designed that the wires don't touch.
Yes, and you can use, of course, this stuff also to make sure that you're connected it correctly.
Interesting question on Twitch by the old Tayab786. Have you ever made PCs from plastic? Like, I think a case or something.
I'm not sure, but I'm not
like
from
fully plastic.
I don't think so, but I'm not from case, so I'm not sure about that.
I know, like in the very long distant past, there I think some acrylic cases existed, but I remember they were extremely weak. Like if you hit them once, they scratch or they break, or so I think it makes sense to always have like a steel base. Yeah.
But would somebody like
or aluminum?
Completely? I'm not sure, but I would say you want to have a sturdy case, right? So
yeah. So maybe if you want to have it lighter, you have like different materials. So depending on the model that you get, for example, aluminum, which is lighter than steel, but plastic it's a bit vulnerable, I'd say. Is there any guarantee that this PSU won't reboot? Like in what sense?
Yeah, but I see his other comment. I think because I think he experiencing an issue with the PSU.
But is it like your PSU rebooting? Is it your whole system rebooting?
Yeah, it can be multiple causes, of course. So I would go tear down and then step by step build up your system and see if it's if the problem can be located. But if you're thinking your PSU is not working properly, please reach out to us or to your local retailer.
First try to make sure indeed where the problem is, because otherwise you might get a new PSU and you still run into the same problem. So make sure it's not another component in your PC.
Yeah, yes.
DJ Cosby is asking, if I just bought a B450, do I need to BIOS update for Zen 2? So Zen 2 architecture is in 3rd gen Ryzen processors, sometimes a little bit confusing. So 3rd gen Ryzen Zen 2. So those are the very new AMD Ryzen processors. It depends a bit what model you have. If you have a regular B450 model, yes, you need to update your BIOS to have 3rd gen Ryzen working. If you bought one of the new Max models, they already come with the BIOS for 3rd gen Ryzen out of the box. So there you don't need to update your BIOS. So Max model, no, you don't need to update. Different model, yes, you do need to update. You do need to update.
I see Edwin K. Does Coolermaster have watertight power supplies? No. If your PC is outside,
are you planning on swimming with your computer?
I wouldn't recommend it, but no, it's not something that we have.
But we don't have watertight motherboards and graphics cards either. So
No. Just don't go outside when it's raining with your.
Or
with your rig underneath your arm.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's continue because you have some more stuff.
Yeah,
very small boxes this time.
Very small
so
boxes.
We've seen a lot of big boxes now.
Yeah, but I think this is the smallest box of the day, right? I don't see any smaller stuff than this. So I want to. There we are. I want to point out these nice little. Tiny boxes, and this is basically what this is 19-degree 24-pin adapter, and I think we can show it on our build here as well. But then we'll need to move the camera a little bit. Yes, I think this shows it just right away what it is and what it does. So as you can see.
So it is like plugged into the motherboard,
Indeed.
And then you have 90-degree angle to the power supply cable.
Yeah. So it makes it easier for you to connect the power cable because of course this is a test bench, but in your build the motherboard will be in a different position and the cable will come. Yeah, let's put it like from out of the air, just dropping down, and then it's a little bit tight band to stuck it neatly behind your motherboard, and this little adapter just helps you with making that a little bit more easier. So it looks better, it's easier for you to build. Just a nice little neat trick to attach your cable a little bit more easier and make sure it looks a bit nicer.
Interesting detail, by the way. We're actually using the V750 Gold.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can show it
I think
in this build.
Yes.
So it's in the there you can see it. So this is the exact model that you have shown before.
Correct. Yes.
So we have that cool button somewhere hidden below.
I think
the fan is underneath, so it's a little bit hard to show the passive functionality.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a 90-degree adapter again for a 24-pin cable. So we have two versions. This is the basic version. So this is just the 90-degree adapter, but there's also a different version. This one has added capacitors. So what it does, it makes sure that the power output to your components is as equal as it possibly can be. Of course, a decent PSU should be able to do that already. But if you're using an older PSU or just want to make a little bit more, you want to have a little bit more certainty, then this could be a good option to use this one as well instead of the regular version without them. So it's a small box. It's not a difficult story, but it's a story that I think people will like a lot because it's such a nice little thing to just make your build a little bit more easier and make your cable management a little bit nicer as well. So that's some small boxes I want to show to you.
Maybe we can take one out so you can see it up close.
Yes.
So from the outside you cannot see the difference, right? Between the.
So when you're in the store, make sure that you check the box But of course, as you can see, this one is the one without, and this one is with. I'm not sure if the camera will focus.
Yeah, I think
because
it does.
Underneath it says, with
added capacitors for stable power output.
Yes, of course. So here's the little neat thing. There's some paperwork.
And this can actually help you a lot with the cable management in your case, because sometimes it's really complicated to get your cable properly around without having a very ugly mess of cables. And because you already have the 90-degree angle, you only need another 90 degree to make it disappear behind your motherboard tray.
Yes, yes. About RGB, yes, some people have asked, because you see this this little Cooler Master logo over here. Yes, let's put RGB on that one. And actually, we're checking if it's something that we're going to do.
If it's possible.
Yes, yes, yes. No, yeah. If it's possible to add RGB, we'll check it. But all right.
RGB everything.
RGB everything. Yeah, colors makes life wonderful, right? So, all right.
Cool.
I think that's it for me in regards of products to show. I'm not sure if there are any questions.
I will draw another winner. In the meanwhile, if you still have any questions for Andre, drop them in chat right now. Now he's still here. Now he can still answer them. So let me see how our next winner is. So our last winner of today is Andre. You did the last one very well. Do you want to do the next one too?
Of course.
So we have a nickname again.
Oh, that's a very long nickname. Oh, no, it's
no,
not.
It's a short one.
It's not. It's Brims, if I'm correct. Prims. Yes.
Congratulations. You also won a $20 Steam wallet code. And I see a question in chat from Todd. What was the difference between the V and the MWE series?
Yeah. Yes.
So both power supplies?
There's both power supplies, but it's a couple of things. But one of the most important things is the efficiency. So the V series that I had with me is a V Gold. Let me just...
So the V is like the higher end series.
Correct.
So in this case, gold. But you also have this, for example, with platinum, right?
Yeah. V, correct. So this is a V Gold 80 plus gold power supply, and the MWE that I had with me today is an 80 plus white power supply. So that means that the gold one is a bit more efficient than the white one. And again, this is also this one is also fully modular. This is not fully modular. So those are the, let's say, main two topics about the difference between MWE white and V Gold power supplies.
So like a bit of a higher end model in general. So not only more efficient, but also different features. The button for
the fanless option in the V Gold. This one has a silent mode when it's on standby. There's a couple of options that are different. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, let me see. Do I have to use MSI's Dragon Center plus Mystic Light? Depends on what you want to do. If you want to sync all the components with the RGB, for example, yes, you do need the Dragon Center with Mystic Light. And then you simply connect all your RGB devices, for example, Cooler Master, water cooling, etc. With all different kinds of RGB, you can all connect it to your motherboard and then sync it up or use different effects, stuff like that. Abhishek is saying RGB cannot increase any FPS. Are you sure? I think it does. RGB increases your FPS by factor 10. Edward is saying, I would not go below platinum officially nowadays. It depends really, I think. Like if you only use your system like half an hour a day to send a couple of emails, then it will take a very long time before you earn the efficiency back.
Yeah, because it is a more expensive power supply than for example, this MWE white. So
on the other hand, if you're an enthusiast, if you use the system a lot.
Tech-wise, I cannot completely understand you want to go for the best of the best. But, that's not always what you're looking for. So
it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Edwin's saying, how many power do you need to have minimally? Yeah, that depends on your system.
Yeah.
So that's not one fixed answer.
Yeah.
Usually the higher end components you get, the more power they use.
Yeah. Our range starts at 400 watt for MWE white. It goes up to 750. But it really depends on how what your build is. We cannot answer that in one go. No.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining in our live stream.
Thank you so much.
Again, Ellie as well, thank you for joining. Hope to see you again in the future. And yeah, that was it for today. Next week, we will talk about a hot topic, Evoke. So that's one of our new Navi graphics cards models, so the new AMD series. There was a little bit of controversy about this model. We're extensively going to talk about this, give you all the ins and outs about it, to make sure you understand exactly what's going on and if you should be worried or not. Short spoiler alert, no need to be worried. So definitely check out our live stream next week. It will be with Eric together with Ruud. Ruud is our technical expert. You might have seen him already in a few live streams before. So if you have any questions about this topic, prepare them for next week. And that was it for today. Thank you again, and see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.